Oh, sweet. There's a live Q&A right now? Oh, Q, I've got so many questions. I just can't wait. What were in those envelopes? It must have been something good. Our promise to counter? Yes! Gitmo, baby! And what about Snowden? I know Edward Snowden has got to be on our side. He's got to be a good guy. Yup, negotiating for return. Traitor? Mission to harm the NSA? Well, I guess that settles it. And what about JFK Jr.? Q, I just know it. He's got to be alive. No. What? What about Seth Rich? Can't we just have Seth Rich? No. Oh, man. Don't tell me you're backing off on the arrests, Q. Detention centers being prepped. Oh, there is a God. And please tell me there's a plan after Trump. Oh, yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78, and I am the corruption detector. I hope everyone's having a good day. I know I certainly did with that live Q&A that Q did for us. Now that we've got all those burning questions out of the way that I'm sure all of us wanted to know, it's time to get into the news. First of all, we've got a gem of a clip featuring wax-faced Mika Brzezinski and her thoughts on Secretary Pompeo.
Are the pathetic deflections that we just heard when he appeared on Fox and Friends, is that a patriot speaking or a wannabe dictator's butt boy?
Wow. Tell us how you feel, Mika. She's throwing in the homophobic slurs talking about our boys, Mike Pompeo and President Donald Trump. Look at Joe's face. I think that he probably was a little bit surprised and taken aback by her saying that. I know the censors at NBC were. So, thanks, Mika. Thanks for weighing in, because we care. All right, and here is an awesome video, which was also in the Q posts from today. Just take a look, because it warms your heart.
Team of 7 pastry employees that have been working night and day for about 2 months, piece by piece, brick by brick, putting the gingerbread elevator together. My sous chef, Brie, has really spearheaded this project.
It was a big project to undertake, kind of a labor of love. I designed it at home, just like kind of sketching and going from there. And we made a brick baking schedule where everyone had to bake gingerbread every day for the last 2 months. And we put 1,200 bricks into the elevator, and that included like over 400 pounds of flour, sugar, brown sugar, molasses, spices like crazy. It smells absolutely amazing in the elevator. You know, you step
This is my favorite part.
House, and it's filled with
wow.
You can tell that it's real because you can touch the walls.
The
and
Q.
You can see that there's real cookies on the walls. And for the whole thing to be there and to have the music on and snow falling in the background. And when the doors close, you just have like kind of a moment of being transported into somewhere else.
Merry Christmas from President Donald Trump and everyone at Trump Hotels. Look at that, making dreams come true. How cool would that be to be a little kid like that and walk into a gingerbread house/elevator? So cool. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. If you haven't yet, make sure you're checking out the posts so that you can catch all of the little breadcrumbs that they left for us in that video. And talk to me about it in the comments below. All right, so this was just touching back on the story I did this morning. Breaking news for me, because I hadn't heard about this. I guess that it did come out late in October, kind of under the radar. But what's important here that I wanted to point out is that, yes, this was from the investigation into Anthony Weiner's laptop, but Anthony Weiner being the subject of the investigation. But this right here, producers of child pornography, not producer of child pornography, but producers, plural. And who are the only other people that are discussed in this document? Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin. All right, now, the investigation was on Anthony Weiner. So all they could do would be to go in there and look through Anthony Weiner's stuff. They couldn't look at the communications between him and Huma and him and Hillary. All right, but this is This is an important document right here, and this investigation is not over. Things are happening. And touching on that, we have tomorrow's hearing at the Subcommittee of Government Relations, Oversight of Nonprofit Organizations, a case study on the Clinton Foundation. So the purpose is to discuss the management of 501c3 nonprofit organizations and how the designation impacts the programs and activities a nonprofit is allowed to conduct. But here's background. 501c3 organizations are not permitted to be organized or operated for the benefit of any private individual and are only permitted to engage in minimal political activity. When a nonprofit organization violates these terms, defrauds contributors, or engages in impermissible political activity, the IRS may revoke its tax-exempt status. So what do we see here? Well, we know that all of those things happened. Hillary Clinton used the foundation as a pay-to-play vehicle. Bill Clinton was reported to be using it for his own nasty purposes, commingling of funds and whatnot. And I do remember hearing a report that the foundation paid for Chelsea Clinton's wedding. So that means all these people donating out of the kindness of their hearts to the Clinton Foundation, all that $10 billion that was supposed to go to Haiti, where they built like 6 houses in a shanty town, essentially. All of these things are violations of their charter. Okay? I know about nonprofits. I know how they're supposed to work. The Clinton Foundation is the very definition of how you should not be running your organization. All right, and then touching even more still on the Clintons, from Big League Politics, Clinton crony lawyer targeting Roger Stone apparently lied about Hillary's missing emails. Look at that guy. Roger Stone, what a character. Big League Politics has talked about Hillary Clinton's attack dog lawyer, Jeannie Rhee, in the past. Rhee is leading Mueller's probe into Trump associate Roger Stone and trying to charge him with perjury. Stone continually denies any acts of wrongdoing and has taken 2 polygraph tests to prove his innocence. But Rhee is insistent, and it's no wonder why. She has deep links to both Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, as previously reported at Big League Politics. Prior to joining Mueller's investigative team, Rhee represented former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in a lawsuit seeking access to her private emails. Incredibly, that is now one of the very subjects Rhee's investigating. Stone over. Rhee also represented the Clinton Foundation in 2015 after a racketeering lawsuit brought by the conservative legal activist group Freedom Watch in 2015. Rhee's husband, Christopher, served as a special assistant to then Deputy Attorney General Eric Holder and as a counsel to Democratic Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois, a leading critic of Judge Brett Kavanaugh on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Jeannie Rhee is also a contributor to Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. Rhee donated a total of $5,400 to Clinton in 2015 and 2016. Rhee also donated a combined $4,800 to Obama in 2008 and again in 2011. Rhee has also contributed to the Democratic National Committee. Can you say conflict of interest? But now, Rhee's commitment to Clinton is proven even deeper. She appears to be willing to lie to support her corrupt pal. In court documents from May of 2015, Rhee is seen claiming that Hillary Clinton turned over all of her work-related or potentially work-related email communications to the State Department to fulfill a Freedom of Information Act request. But as it turns out, that wasn't true at all. In September of 2015, it was revealed that a chain of emails failed to be turned over despite the lawful demand. And here's a tweet from TechnoFog. That's a good account. Follow him on Twitter. So, did Rhee lie in court testimony? It appears that she did. And if she did, how can anybody take her seriously while trying to pursue charges against others for supposedly lying under oath? Her crusade against Roger Stone is based around claims that he had connections to WikiLeaks. There is no solid proof of providing that claim, and troves of evidence disproving it. But as the Mueller probe has proven time and again, evidence doesn't matter. Why try to convict somebody for the crime you suspect them of when you can simply create a new crime out of thin air by trapping somebody into committing perjury? Why didn't I think of that? Roger Stone, who is credited as the man who made Donald Trump's political career, is being targeted heavily by deep state prosecutors trying to silence him. For that reason, he now has a legal defense fund, which can be found at stonedefensefund.com. Not a plug for stonedefensefund.com. If you want to donate to Roger Stone, that's your business. I think Roger Stone's a good guy. I think that he is being unfairly targeted. I think that's totally obvious, just like everybody that has been swept up in this disgusting investigation by the special counselor, Robert Mueller. All right. Now we have a story from Sarah Carter. Clinton whistleblowers, Thursday's public hearing to reveal explosive information. Look at that face. I don't even think that's a face a mother could love. A trove of documents on the Clinton Foundation alleging possible pay-for-play and tax evasion have been turned over to the FBI and IRS by several investigative whistleblowers who will be testifying in an open hearing before the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee Thursday, according to the committee and lawmakers. Roughly 6,000 documents are expected to reveal the nearly 2-year investigation by the whistleblowers with a private firm called MDA Analytics, LLC, which allegedly turned over the documents more than a year and a half ago to the IRS, according to John Solomon, who first published the report last week in The Hill, and which we touched upon here on this program. The whistleblowers are former federal criminal investigators who allege that the Clinton Foundation was engaged in illegal activities and may be liable for millions of dollars in delinquent taxes and penalties, according to Solomon. The Department of Justice and the FBI's Little Rock, Arkansas field office, which is believed to be investigating the foundation, have allegedly obtained the documentation from the whistleblowers as well, according to lawmakers who've spoken with the whistleblowers. Clinton Foundation officials could not immediately be reached for comment, and I'm sure that they're going to stick mum on that issue. However, a former whistleblower who has spoken with agents from the FBI field office in Little Rock last year and worked for years as an undercover informant collecting information on Russia's nuclear energy industry for the Bureau, noted his enormous frustration with the DOJ and FBI. You're not alone, pal. He describes as a two-tier justice system that failed to actively investigate the information he provided years ago on the Clinton Foundation and Russia's dangerous meddling with the U.S. nuclear industry and energy industry during the Obama administration. William D. Campbell's story was first published by this reporter in 2017. He turned over more than 5,000 documents and detailed daily briefs to the Bureau when he served as a confidential informant reporting on Russia's nuclear giant Rosatom. Campbell worked as an energy consultant, gaining the trust of Russians and providing significant insight into Russia's strategic plans to gain global dominance in the uranium industry. He reported on Russia's intentions to build a closer relationship with Obama administration officials, to include then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, as reported. The documents he turned over to the DOJ, which were reviewed by this news site, showed Campbell had also provided highly sensitive information both related to the uranium case as well as other intelligence matters since 1996, so a very credible witness. Special counsel Robert Mueller was the director of the FBI at the time Campbell was a confidential informant, and according to Campbell, the information was briefed to Mueller by his FBI handlers. Mueller received the documents, copies of which I still have, over a period of years and ignored a national security threat to the United States because of his political preference, said Campbell, who said he is frustrated that the investigation into the Clinton Foundation and the other information he provided was apparently ignored years ago. What do you want to bet Mueller ignored it? Because he was too busy hand-delivering samples of uranium to the Russians and picking up a paycheck for it. These men were in charge of transport of nuclear materials inside the United States while committing criminal activity here in the United States and signing major U.S. utility contracts, said Campbell, referring to the information he provided the FBI on the American company Transportation Logistics International, also known as TLI, was the primary transport company for Russian enriched uranium sold to the United States. One teacup of what they were transporting both domestically and abroad could close down Wall Street or Washington, Campbell warned. Mueller ignored and delayed their arrests over years while I was risking my life undercover and interacting with these Vladimir Putin appointees both here in the United States and overseas. But Representative Mark Meadows, chairman of the Freedom Caucus and member of the committee, said this time it will be different. He noted that the investigation is apparently ongoing with the FBI and DOJ and believes the information being delivered for Thursday's hearing to be explosive in nature and may help connect the dots. Meadows told Fox News' Martha McCallum Tuesday, "The American people, they want to bring some closure, not just a few sound bites here or there. So we're going to be having a hearing this week, not only covering over some of those 6,000 pages that you're talking about, but hearing directly from 3 whistleblowers that have actually spent the majority of the last 2 years investigating this." Meadows, who's also on President Donald Trump's shortlist to replace Chief of Staff John Kelly, noted that some allegations whistleblowers make are quite explosive. "We just look at the contributions. Now everybody's focused on the contributions for the Clinton Foundation and what has happened just in the last year. But if you look at it, it had a very strong rise. The minute she was selected as Secretary of State, it dipped down when she was no longer there, and then rose again when she decided to run for president. So there are all kinds of allegations of pay to play and that kind of thing," Meadows added. Seems pretty cut and dry to me. Ugh. Thank you, Sarah Carter. Well, guys, that's all I have for you tonight. I want to thank everybody who is tuning in and checking out my videos. And I just want to say that although it may be extremely sad to learn that no, JFK Jr. is not alive, I think that we can agree that the things he stood for are still living on in the heart of our president, Donald Trump. It was fun while it lasted. It was a great time trying to figure this out. But I bet that there are going to be so many more wondrous things to be shown to us. And as long as there are people alive on this earth who remember JFK Jr., he's still here. Thanks, everybody. Good night, and God bless.